check their banner link on my webpage, thedougshortshow.com, and give them a try, all right? The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougshortshow.com. All right, before we went to the break, I mentioned we're going to talk to a great guest today, the head coach of the Georgia State men's basketball team, Mr. Ron Hunter. Yes. So, great coach. They won the Sun Belt last year in his third year coaching the team. So we're going to talk to him and find out what he's got going on and, get a sense of Georgia State basketball. And that kind of leads us into the everyday question, okay? The everyday question is, who's your small-time team? Not one of the teams in the Big Five, obviously. Small-time team, like Georgia State or like West Georgia or Savannah State. Obviously, and you're listening to The Doug Stewart Show, I went to South Carolina State University, so I'm big-time Bulldog fan. And we got great players from yesteryear. We got Hall of Famers. There's a little discussion about that, but Deacon Jones went to South Carolina State for like a semester, and allegedly he was unruly. So he had to leave, but we claim him as our own. So we got Deacon Jones, we got Harry Carson, we got a bunch of great players that went to South Carolina State. Robert Porcher, who I went to school with, Big Zeus, Orlando Brown, God rest the dead. And so we got great players. So I've always, because a lot of the members of my family went to South Carolina State, always gone to homecoming and supported that team. Another team that you might find kind of interesting that I kind of support and I root for is the Citadel. Yes, in Charleston, South Carolina. And the reason I root for the Citadel is because it's kind of like the closest team that I grew up as far as college athletics that I heard a lot about. You know, when the news talked about, college football, they always talked about the Citadel. And it was a military college, and it was kind of cool. So I always followed the Citadel, and they had this coach back in the day, Charlie Taft, and they ran this wicked wishbone, and it was crazy. They used to put up like 500-600 yards rushing every week. So I used to follow the Citadel, and I was very high on the Citadel until I did a recruiting trip there. Me and my cousin John Rivers, whose birthday was yesterday or 2 days ago, we did a recruiting trip there, and I don't know why the hell they sent him a letter or wanted to recruit him because they know good and well he wasn't going to the Citadel. John Rivers was the number one. My cousin was the number one wide receiver in the state of South Carolina, probably top 2 or 3 wide receivers in the country, so he wasn't going to no damn Citadel. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. So we took this recruiting trip, and I went to the Citadel, and we were in the stands watching them play a game, and everybody had on uniforms. Now, I knew they had on uniforms, but I didn't know they had to wear the uniforms on the weekend. That's not cool. That's really not cool. So right then I was turned off by the Citadel and the Citadel life. I didn't know, and nobody explained it to me. I'm from the country. Nobody explained it to me that a Citadel degree is like one of the best degrees you can have in this country. And nobody said to me, you need to just, suck it up and get what these people are giving you. Nobody said that to me, all right? I'm from small town USA. And they said, you got to go to the Citadel and wear a uniform every day, or you can go to South Carolina State and be out with the Qs. And get a great degree. And have a good time. And be part of the business school. Yes, I need to make sure and say that. So what's the small-time school that you follow in college athletics? Whether that's basketball or football. Once again, we're going to have on Ron Hunter, head coach of the Georgia State Panthers. They won the conference last year in the Sun Belt, so they expect big things. They're the preseason favorite to win the conference again. They got like 2 players on the team that are on the preseason all-conference team, and they also got the kid that played at Louisville, Kevin Ware. Remember the kid that broke his leg like in 5 places? No, maybe not, but it was gruesome looking. He actually transferred to Georgia State. So we're going to talk to Coach Hunter a little bit later in today's show and get the 411 on Georgia State basketball. All right, 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. If you're a company out there, a business out there, and you'd like to partner with us, we'd love to partner with you. We're doing big things, man. So email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and whether it's your product, your brand, your company's name, whatever it is, we love to partner with you. All right, talked about it before we went to the break a little bit and mentioned the fact that the new college football playoff rankings came out last night. And let's just talk about the top 5. Number 5 is Alabama. Number 4 is Oregon. Number 3 is Auburn. Number 2 is Florida State. And number 1 is Mississippi State, as they still are undefeated. Them and Florida State, as well as Marshall, are still, the only teams that are undefeated, but Marshall isn't getting any love at all, and I doubt they will get any love at all. So Mississippi State is number 1, Florida State's number 2, Auburn's at number 3 at 7-1, Oregon is at 8-1, and Alabama's at 7-1. At 7-1. I still got a little problem, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I still got a little problem with Oregon being ahead of Alabama. But then when you look at it a little bit deeper, and this is what I had to do after last night, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I had to really go in there and try to figure out what these guys were talking about and why they're giving Auburn or Oregon so much love and why they feel like that they should be ranked ahead of Alabama. And I kind of understand it. If you look at Oregon's schedule, they have 3 what they would call better wins than Alabama does. Alabama has one significant win. If you talk about their schedule as far as the teams they've beaten, the quality teams that they've beaten, and that was when they beat West Virginia, okay? And so not really that big of a name, that big of a team, even though they are playing good football this year. And then Oregon's got a couple of good wins. They beat Michigan State. They also beat Stanford. And they also beat UCLA. They also beat UCLA on the road as well. So those are good wins, but they have that one horrible loss to Arizona at home. And I just can't get past that. But guess what? Here's the thing about it. And here's what I told myself at the end of the day. It's all going to work itself out. It's all going to work itself out because Oregon's remaining schedule is really, really booty. They don't play anybody else for the rest of the year. They play Utah, who's number 17, quality team, but they should handle their business. They also play the Colorado Buffaloes, who are just horrible. And then they play the Oregon State Beavers as well. So that's it. And you know what Alabama got ahead of them. You know what Alabama got ahead of them. They have the Iron Bowl ahead of them. So if Alabama handles their business and they beat Auburn or even vice versa, all of these teams in the SEC that are at the top of this ranking, they have the ability to control their own destiny because they're in position where if they win, they'll probably slide into that top 4. If they lose, then they'll probably slide out. So Alabama still has big games against LSU. They play this weekend, Mississippi State, and then the last game of the year, they take on Auburn. Now, it's a gauntlet. It's a gauntlet of games for Alabama, and I don't think anybody expects for them to win all of those games, which thus means that they aren't one of the 4 best teams in the country. If they get 2 losses and the other teams remain at 1 loss, it's going to be hard for them to get into that Final 4. So the new polls come out every Tuesday. And also another thing people had a lot of disagreement with, I guess, is the fact that Notre Dame is still ranked fairly low based on what they've done. They're ranked number 10. They beat the number 2 team in the country, the defending national champions. But once again, when you dig a little deeper and look at the schedule, Notre Dame ain't played nobody. I mean, they played Stanford, had a come-from-behind win against Stanford, then the one loss to Florida State, which was questionable with a pass interference call at the end of the game. But other than that, Navy, North Carolina, Syracuse, Purdue, Michigan, and Rice, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Their schedule is just bad. It's just horrible, horrible, horrible when you're talking about positioning yourself to get into this Final 4. And the strength of schedule just isn't there. And I like the Golson kid. Obviously, he's from South Carolina, and I root for him. And if they would have beat Florida State, I would have been fine with that. I don't care. I don't got no rooting interest in Florida State or Notre Dame. So I don't care. But their schedule is just weak. And when they planned the schedule years ago, did they know the schedule would be this week? Probably not. Now, they do have an opportunity to do some things and impress voters a little bit later in this year when they take on Southern Cal, the last game of the season. But I still don't see them being high enough at this point in the polls to get into that Final Four. A lot of crazy things got to happen, I think, for Notre Dame to find themselves in that Final Four. Obviously, they have to go undefeated, and they have to get these wins. And they definitely have to beat Southern Cal. So what are your thoughts on the College Football Playoff Committee new rankings that came out last night, man? I don't know, man. I love it, but then I'm just yearning, and it makes me yearn even more and more for an 18 playoff, which is going to happen. It is going to happen at some point very, very soon. I guess they probably got a deal already signed to do it this way for a certain amount of years. And then at that point, it's going to go to 8 teams. You best believe it. It's going to go to 8 teams. Yes. I love it. I love college football. I just had to stop and pause a second. I love college football more than I love the NFL. And I may, if you listen to the show, you probably heard that before. It's just so much passion. It's so much more involved with the fans and the players. There's more of a kinship with the teams that these guys play for. And a lot of these guys know they're not going to play at the next level. So they're loving it right now, okay? They are absolutely loving it. And I just love the passion and the pageantry of college football. Yes, yes. Who's the small-time college program that you follow? We all got our guys in the big boys in Division I and the 5 big conferences. Whether it's South Carolina or Georgia Tech or Georgia or Florida State. But who's that second-tier team that you follow? Is it Appalachian State? Is it the Citadel like I talked about earlier? Is it Catawba? Is it Mars Hill, who I got my only college touchdown against? I believe it was Mars Hill. Yeah, so who's that team, that small-time team that you follow? I just thought about this just now. I got a great Travis Gervais story. You remember Travis Gervais? Kick returner for the Green Bay Packers. He actually played for the Citadel, but he also played high school in our conference. I got a nice story for you when we get back. And when we get back, we'll grab your calls, read some of your chats, and we'll talk a little bit of NBA. Don't go away. Sports Talk with Hot Sauce, the Doug Stewart Show.
The Doug Stewart Show is off and running, but just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at your folk. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Yes! This your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and a fully encompassed prepaid legal benefit that includes identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. I'm always saying get with the times. Stop acting like you at your mama house, calling that girl you met at summer camp 2 states away, and your mama screaming out, "I know you better not be talking long distance running up my bill with that little hussy girl." Well, get with the times with your long distance charges. Presenting Univon. Univon offers unlimited worldwide calling to 60-plus countries for $14.99 a month. No contract, no activation fee, and no cancellation fee. Users can call anytime using their mobile phone or home IP phone. So stop flushing money down the drain. Get more details by clicking Univon's link banner on thedougstewartshow.com or the link on the dougstewartshow.com app. Try out Univon and call your peoples like you not at your mama house.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart